Okay, good morning everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the second category of autoimmune disorder, which is called as the systemic autoimmune disorder. All if you remember what is autoimmune disorder, autoimmune disorders are the defect in immune system wherein the antigens which are there in the body, the self antigens or the proteins which are there in the body is going to be identified by the immune system. Thereby, different types of antibodies will be synthesized. There will be formation of immune complex. Whenever there is a formation of immune complex, complement get activated, and whenever the complement mediated lysis happens, organs can get damaged, the entire system can get damaged. So yesterday we discussed about different types of organ specific autoimmune disorder. In today's class we are going to see what are the different types of systemic autoimmune disorders which are seen in the autoimmune patient. Okay, so in the case of systemic autoimmune disorder, as a set of antigens which are there in the body, they will be identified by the autoantibodies. Okay, various types of antigens will be identified by the autoantibodies. Thereby, immune complex accumulation will be there, which will affect the entire body. Yesterday, we have seen sometimes the organ specific immunity. Sometimes it will affect the thyroid gland. Some of them it will affect the skin. Some of them will affect the neurons. We have seen all those things. So now today RBCs are affected by the hemolytic anemia and pernicious anemia, you remember, wherein the RBCs are affected. Some of the cells or tissues or organs are affected in the case of organ specific. Here it is not a specific organ or a cell. The entire body is affected by the systemic autoimmune disorder. We are going to see there are various set of systemic autoimmune disorders are there, but we are going to discuss about the four important systemic autoimmune disorders. The first one what we are going to see is known as SLE. SLE. SLE stands for systemic. What do you mean by systemic? Then their body. Lupus erythematosus. Systemic lupus erythematosus. So usually it is called as lupus also. Now in this condition, this is a very dangerous condition of autoimmune disorder, wherein you can see here I have given the list autoantibodies, or the immune system will identify nucleus, nuclear protein, nucleic acid, histones, RBC, all these platelets, all these cells and proteins will be identified by the immune system. A set of antibodies will be synthesized for various antigens which are there in the body. What are those? Nucleus will be identified as an antigen, that meaning the proteins which are there on the nuclear membrane. Nuclear protein, within the nucleus there are different types of protein, those protein, histones, nucleic acid. Nucleic acid will also be identified by not exactly the nucleic acid, the proteins which are associated with the nucleic acid will be identified by the immune system. RBC, okay, RBCs or red blood cells will be identified as an antigen, and also platelet. Now, the autoantibody which is synthesized in the body, once the immune system identify all these components as the antigen, the autoantibody synthesis will happen. Those autoantibodies are immunoglobulin G. Okay, immunoglobulin G autoantibodies will be synthesized, and they will act on all these types of antigens. Okay, autoantibodies are immunoglobulin G. Whenever the immunoglobulin G, so what happens exactly here is these are the antigens. So we'll take the example of RBC or a platelet. On top of that, the antibodies will bind. Okay, whenever antigen antibody complex, this is what RBC, and on top of that immunoglobulin G, that is the autoantibody here, they will form a complex. As soon as this complex is formed, complement which is there in the circulation, they will bind to the immune complex. I think all of you are thorough with the complement chapter. Okay, here the complements will bind, and you know that whenever the complement binds there, it will produce a larger component and a smaller one. Larger fraction and the smaller fraction. Larger fraction will be retained on the cell to form the membrane attack complex, whereas the smaller one will enter into the circulation. Now the major smaller ones which are released out is known as C3A and C5A. These are the two major complements which will be released into the circulation. Excess amount of C5A and C3A will be released out. The concentration increases. Whenever this concentration increases, C3A and C5A increases, there will be overexpression of the CR3. What is CR3? Complement receptor 3. Where exactly they are present? They are present on the neutrophils. So the C3A and C5A, which is released out as a smaller product of the complement hydrolysis, they will activate the expression of the complement receptor 3 on the neutrophil, and these complements will bind to the neutrophil. Once it binds to the neutrophil get activated, they will bind to the endothelium, especially to the vascular endothelium. The neutrophils will bind, and these neutrophils will accumulate there, and it forms a complex. All the neutrophils will start accumulating to the endothelium, and whenever there is an occlusion or the a mass of neutrophil will bind to the vascular endothelium, the blood flow will not be happening properly, and you can also see vasculitis. You remember what you mean by the term which ends with itis, that means some inflammation. What do you mean by vasculitis then? Inflammation of the vascular tissue. Okay, so this can be seen. All of you are clear with that? Now what happens? There will be RBC. This is one example. The similar way, it will identify the nuclear protein, histone, RBC, platelet, everything will be identified in the similar way. So whichever antigen is there, and autoantibody which is produced here is immunoglobulin G. Once it binds there, complement will bind there. Once after the binding of the complement, the lysis of the RBC or lysis or degradation or immune complex formation will happen. But once after the binding of the complement, there will be excess production of the complement smaller fragment. What are those two? One is C3A, another one is C5A. What is the function of these two? They will activate the overexpression of complement receptor. Okay, CR3 receptor, which is usually seen on the neutrophil, and this CR3 receptor, because of the overexpression of CR3 receptor, C3A and C5A will bind there. Whenever it binds there, neutrophils will start accumulating. All the neutrophils will aggregate together, and it forms a mass. This mass will be binding to the endothelial cells of the vascular endothelial cells. There it binds. So when it binds there, the blood flow won't happen properly, and also you can see inflammation in the vascular endothelium. Okay, so this over formation of this antigen antibody complex can damage the kidney, because whenever the immune complexes are accumulated in the body, in all the autoimmune disorder, you can see that when accumulation of antibodies and antigen happens, immune complex happens, that can lead to kidney damage, because whenever a complex is formed, it has to go out of the body through your excretory system. So for that purpose, it enters into the kidney to release out of the body through urine, but it cannot move out, and all these complexes will accumulate in the kidney, and that lead to kidney damage. And one more thing which is usually seen in the systemic lupus erythematosus patient is on the near the nose. Okay, near the nose you can see a butterfly like rash. Okay, near the nose. Okay, here you can see a butterfly's wing like rash can be seen. So that is because of the erythematosis process. Erythematosis means the RBCs will be undergoing degradation wherever your body is exposed to sunlight. Usually the face will be exposed to sunlight, and that particular region you can see a butterfly like patch can be seen. So that is one of the common symptom that will be seen in the systemic lupus erythematosus patient. They will have the other symptoms of this particular disorder are fatigue, they will be very tired, fever will be there, joint pain can be seen, and the stiffer muscles will be there, swelling, chest pain, and memory loss. All these things can be seen in the case of systemic lupus erythematosus. Clear? So autoantibodies to the nucleus, all these things I told you 2 times. Now autoantibodies are immunoglobulin G. Directly complement mediated lysis happens. Whenever the RBC is bound with the immunoglobulin G, the hemolysis will be happening, and when this immune complex accumulation will activate the release of complement smaller product, which will activate the expression of CR3 receptor, which can lead to vasculitis. Okay, so these are the various symptoms which are associated with the systemic lupus erythematosus. Fine. Now, the next one, what we are going to see is the next disease is multiple sclerosis. Okay, so the disease is multiple sclerosis. The meaning of the term multiple sclerosis is scars in multiple site. What is the meaning of multiple sclerosis? Scars will be seen in multiple site. That is the meaning of the multiple sclerosis. So in this, what happens is autoantibodies will be synthesized as the myelin sheath. What is myelin sheath? Myelin sheath is the protective cover which is there on the neurons. Or if you remember how neuron looks, so this is the neuron, right? This is the cell body, and in the axon will be covered with a sheath. That sheath is called as the myelin sheath. Now what happens is myelin sheath, this is the myelin sheath. Myelin sheath is identified as an antigen, and antibodies will be synthesized against the myelin sheath. So whenever antibodies are synthesized against the myelin sheath, which all part are going to get affected? One is brain. Okay, so in this case, brain will be affected, and central nervous system. Okay, spinal cord, the central nervous system will be completely affected, and brain, spinal cord, and the optic nerve. Okay, so this is a disabling disease which will affect brain, spinal cord, and the optical nerve. Okay, autoantibodies are synthesized to the myelin sheath, and autoreactive T cell also will be formed. And due to the accumulation of this autoantibodies and autoreactive T cell, this will activate, or they will bind to the myelin sheath, and thereby you can see inflammation in the myelin sheath. And the T lymphocyte, whenever the T lymphocyte are overproduced because of the autoimmunity, overexpression of this T lymphocyte will be there. This T lymphocyte infiltrate the brain. They will cross the blood-brain barrier, enter into the brain, and damages the brain. Okay, neurological defect will be there. Because of the neurological defect, these people will be having different problems, such as vision problem will be seen, and they cannot remember anything, and milder symptom is like paralysis and loss of vision will be seen in the case of this particular disease, multiple sclerosis. There are two different types of symptoms are there. One is known as the milder symptom, another one is known as the little complicated kind of symptoms. Milder symptoms are they will have blurred vision because the optical nerves are affected. They will have blurred vision will be there, and they will feel numbness. Okay, throughout the entire finger and the toes, they will have the numb feeling will be there. Okay, they cannot feel anything, and always they feel that numb feeling will be there, and tingling feeling also can be seen in the case of the multiple sclerosis patient. These are the milder symptoms. So whenever this particular disease in the preliminary stage, numbness will be there, tingling feeling will be there, and they will have the blurred vision. As time passes, the symptoms will become very severe. Motor weakness can be seen, and they will have lack of coordination. They cannot coordinate any of the work properly because the myelin sheath is affected, and it will be swollen. The conduction of nerve impulse will not be happening because of the inflammation in the myelin sheath. So impaired vision, motor weakness, lack of coordination, and finally you can see paralysis. Okay, paralysis, and they cannot survive for a longer time, and they will die. Next one is rheumatoid arthritis. So all of you must have heard about this rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is a very common disease, autoimmune disorder, which is seen in female. So there are different reasons for rheumatoid arthritis. The rheumatoid arthritis, what I am going to say is autoimmune rheumatoid arthritis. That you have to remember. Rheumatoid arthritis, there are various types. Autoimmune rheumatoid arthritis is because of the autoimmune response. Now, you can see inflammation in the joint. All of you know that arthritis is meaning inflammation in the joint. And inflammation in the joint meaning it is not like normal whatever inflammation you all of us encounter. It will be like a severe pain will be there. Because of their pain, no, they cannot move their neck properly. They cannot move the fingers properly. They cannot move their body also properly because they will have severe pain. So whenever they have severe pain, they will stretch their neck or stretch. They will they cannot do any work properly. Because of that, they will be doing in a different way. So whenever they do such things, you can see that swan neck in rheumatoid arthritis, severe form of rheumatoid arthritis. Those patients' neck will be like little bent. Okay, so that is known as the swan neck. So whoever has this swan kind of neck, they have the severe rheumatoid arthritis. And another one is Z form, deformality of the thumb, because since they cannot move properly, the finger cannot move properly, so they will be bending in a different way. Whenever they move it in a different way, finally you can see an Z kind of appearance in the finger. You must have seen in your grandmother or grandfather the bend Z kind of deformality in the finger. Okay, that is another common symptom which is seen in the rheumatoid arthritis. Now, whenever the autoantibodies are synthesized, now the important aspect here what you need to remember is the antigen which is identified here is the immunoglobulin G. You know that immunoglobulin G is the most abundant immunoglobulin which is there in the body. Now, what happens is immunoglobulin G itself is identified as an antigen. Okay, it is a wondering thing, no? Immunoglobulin G, that is an antibody, that itself is identified as an antigen. So antibodies will be synthesized against immunoglobulin G. The antibody which is synthesized here is immunoglobulin M. Okay, which antibody is synthesized? Immunoglobulin M is synthesized against the immunoglobulin G. So here I have written clearly autoantibodies to IgG. Why IgG? Because this is identified as the antigen. Immunoglobulin G is the most abundant immunoglobulin which is there in the serum. This immunoglobulin itself is considered as an antigen, and antibodies will be synthesized. Those antibodies are immunoglobulin M. Now, whenever the immunoglobulin M is formed, immunoglobulin G and immunoglobulin B will bind together and it forms a complex. That complex is known as the immune complex. IgG, IgM immune complex will be formed. All this accumulated product, immunoglobulin G, immunoglobulin M complex, meaning you can think about the molecular weight of it, because it will be little larger. You know the molecular weight of each immunoglobulin, so it will be little larger. So this larger complex will accumulate in the synovial fluid. Where is synovial fluid present? It is present between the between the bone. In the joint you can see synovial fluid. So the synovial fluid is the one which will help in the movement of the joint properly, because there is a synovial fluid is there which will give that flexibility to the bone. So in that place all these immune complexes will accumulate. Now whenever this immune complex accumulate there, the synovial because it's an extra foreign thing, because of that you can see inflammation. Inflammation will be there in the synovium. Okay, synovium will have the inflammation. So that's what I've written here, accumulation of the immune complex. What is that immune complex? IgG, IgM complex in the synovium. And synovium is the region which is there between the bone, okay, which will have a fluid called as the synovial fluid. In the synovial fluid, this will accumulate, which will lead to synovitis. What do you mean by synovitis? Inflammation of the synovium. Okay, so these people with rheumatoid arthritis will have a severe pain, and lifelong they have to suffer the pain. Treatment for rheumatoid arthritis is they need to take some of the painkillers. So usually the painkiller which is given for arthritis is NSAID, non-steroid anti-inflammatory drug. What is NSAID? Non-steroid anti-inflammatory drug. Okay, that will be given. So they have to take this drug throughout their life, so that they can live with less pain. Okay, the pain will not go completely, so they can live if they take this particular medicine. They can the pain will be little less. The last one is alopecia areata. This you must have heard, alopecia areata. This is an autoimmune disorder wherein hair follicle is identified as the antigen. So what happens when hair follicles is identified as an antigen? The proteins which are there in the hair follicle will be identified as an antigen. Antibodies will be synthesized. Antibodies will bind to all the hair follicles which are there throughout the body. Wherever hair follicles are there, autoantibodies will bind there. So what happens? What is the end result of that? What could be the end result of this particular process? Because of that, inflammation will be there in the hair follicle, infection will be there, inflammation will be there, and entire hair will be completely lost. Okay, so in the case of alopecia areata, the major reason for this one is they will have antibodies which will be synthesized against their hair follicle. So hair follicle will be bound with the hair follicle, in the sense they will the proteins which are there in the hair follicle will be identified as the antigen, and antibodies will bind there, inflammation will be there, and then hair loss will happen. So this will no at any age it can happen. Okay, so sudden trigger of the immune system wherein hair follicle proteins will be identified as an antigen, and antibodies will be synthesized, and you can see that in this particular patient, the hair loss will be like bunches of hair will be going away. Okay, sometimes you can see that patches of hair loss will be there, patches can be seen, wherein it will be clear area, and after some time you can see that then their hair will be lost. It's a very people have to come out of that condition. It's like which will affect the mentality of a person more than the pain. So pain will not be there, that much pain won't be there in the case of this particular patient. This will have a social and psychological impact. More than the feeling of that patient, people will be telling, they will feel sympathetic and they will be telling you all that, this and all. So that is the major problem of this particular autoimmune disorder. The great social and psychological impact, and this usually, alopecia areata, this will be usually seen in patients who has other types of autoimmune disorder. Okay, so that's all about different types of systemic autoimmune disorder. If you see some of the immunology book, there are many, but in the examination usually they will ask autoimmune diseases. So how much you can write. But if you are interested, you can go through some of the immunology books, or in the internet also there are various diseases, list of diseases are available. You can just go through all the diseases and gain knowledge. Okay, but examination point of view, whatever I said, that is more than sufficient. Now, what are the treatment for autoimmune disorder? Whether it is systemic or organ specific, you can treat it by using 4 different methods. One is immunosuppressive drug. They have to take an immunosuppressive drug which will suppress the immune system. How exactly immunosuppressive drug will act, that Lojana has explained in her seminar. All of you can go through that. So immunosuppressive drug will suppress the immune system, thereby auto-antibody production will not happen. But the problem with any immunosuppressive drug is that can have side effect. People will get other infections. Second one is plasmapheresis, wherein the patient will be admitted in the hospital for a day. Their blood will be taken and it will be sent through a plasmapheresis instrument. Plasmapheresis is wherein centrifugation happens, or sometimes the blood will be passed through a semi-permeable membrane. Whatever immune complexes are formed, whatever antigen, antibody, auto-antibody, antigen complexes are accumulated in the body, in the serum especially, that will be eliminated completely by the plasmapheresis process. Like people go for dialysis once in a week or something like that. Similarly, those who can afford the cost of this plasmapheresis, they have to go to the hospital, or 15 days once or something like that. They have to go and remove the antigen antibody complex which are accumulated in the serum by a process called as the plasmapheresis. So in the plasmapheresis, usually it is done by centrifugation and passing the blood through a semi-permeable membrane, which will remove all the antigen antibody complex. So there are different types of plasmapheresis. One of the plasmapheresis, one type of plasmapheresis is used for the separation of blood cells. But in this case, we are looking on the separation of antigen antibody complex which is formed in the serum. Second one is the peptide blockage of the MHC and or the receptor. Before the antibody or the receptor MHC, which can identify the autoantigen, the antigen which is there in the body, we have to introduce some of the peptide, artificial peptide which has structural similarity with the autoantigen. So when you inject those proteins into the patient which has structural similarity with the autoantigen, what the immune system has identified as an antigen, if you inject those proteins, they will bind to the MHC and the receptor and it will be blocked. Okay, so the receptor, it will be like an inert protein. It cannot activate any further process. Inert proteins will be injected. This inert protein which has a binding site on this MHC or on the B cell receptor, thereby it will be completely blocked. Thereby the antibodies which are formed, it cannot bind to the antigen and immune complex formation can be avoided. So peptide blockage, peptide in the sense in the inert peptide which can bind to the MHC and all the B cell receptor is synthesized, it will be injected into the patient, thereby the MHC or the B cell receptor will be blocked. Immune complex formation won't happen. And the last one is monoclonal antibody treatment. Before the auto-antibody can bind to the antigen, you can add, you can use the monoclonal antibody. So monoclonal antibody will remove this antigen Either we can remove the antigen by using monoclonal antibody, or you can synthesize a monoclonal antibody which will bind with the autoantibodies. So in the case of rheumatoid arthritis, what is the autoantibody? Immunoglobulin M. So you have to synthesize a monoclonal antibody which can bind to the immunoglobulin M, inject to the patient. All the immunoglobulin M which are synthesized against the immunoglobulin G, that will be bound with the monoclonal antibody so that it cannot further activate the immune system. So these are the 4 different ways of treating the autoimmune disorder. What are the 4 different methods? One is by using immunosuppressive drugs, second one is plasmapheresis, third one is peptide blockage, and the fourth one is by using monoclonal antibody treatment. And how many of you know that how many topics are left now? Only very few topics are left, but in another 1 week or more than 1 week, that means 10 days I think I will finish with the syllabus. But I really don't know how much you have studied. Please go through all the topic and be thorough with all the immunology topics whenever you get time, or when you are making the notes itself, learn and then write it, so that during examination it will be easy. Anytime university will announce that you will have exam, so it will be very problematic. So please go through all the topics, be thorough with all the topic, not only immunology, all the 4 subjects you have to be thorough with. Okay, thank you.